right, cool. Anyway, hi. I'm Cutsman, which, it's my name or tag. It's not my real name, obviously. But I've been working on Romhacks, specifically Monkey Ball ones for it's hard to say because I keep like working on them for a bit and then taking a break. So I'd say maybe 5 years of total time, but actual working is like maybe 2.5 years. And what I've created is Super Monkey Ball Gaiden. So that's one ROM hack with 110 levels, 111 if you count Enigma. But and other stuff is I feel like I've really helped contribute to a lot of the levels that have multiple ways to beat them, and just a lot of larger scale levels in general. I really like them. They make me think of like those big marble machines that I used to be like fascinated with. Like when I was like super young, my favorite like toy was like this thing called Perplexus. It looked like this clear ball that had all these things inside of it, and you had to roll like a little marble through it. So,
How were you first introduced to the Monkey Ball series?
oh my god, it's literally just been like, how people have that one childhood game. That was this for me. Me and my brother Ike, which he's a speedrunner now. So yeah, he's also playtested a lot of stuff for my hack too, which is probably why it turned out to be ungodly hard at times. But I've just been always playing it like ever since I was young. I remember I was in kindergarten and it took me forever to beat E7 on the first game. Oh my lord. I could never actually beat the whole thing. I mean, I probably could now. I haven't tried in a while, but just being able to beat E7 in practice was like when I knew, like, yep, this is a good game. Yeah, my favorite actual difficulty is advanced, though. A lot of fun stages.
Yeah, I'd agree. Especially in Monkey Ball 2, it's just a very solid set of levels. 30 stages is nice. I've also always just been a fan of the way the world setup was structured into.
Oh yeah, I like the infinite lives. It allows people to really like get into like this zen state of trying over and over, even if something seems really hard. But losing that resource lives, it means that I can't get as sort of bonkers with level design because it's so cheap if they don't even really get how the stage works. Like I would never put something like apparatus or even stuff like light speed in challenge because it's just sort of hard to get the idea of the stage on the first go. Actually, light speed's not really that, but it's hard to understand certain times on like your first go. But having that infinite lives is a big factor.
So, to get back to the question bit after that brief tangent. So, what would you say is your favorite of the official Monkey Ball series?
I feel like I'm gonna be in the majority too, easily.
Yeah, it's been the most common answer. It's not a
I
bad one.
wonder why.
Yeah, I think the only person that's not said two so far is Sega the Saga, who prefers one, and that's pretty much it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I two it just feels better, One has like those like good levels, but if I want to play those, I'd just play Deluxe or S&B Deluxe and 2.
Right. Now that we have Deluxe, there's little reason to go back to one, especially unless you
Mm-hmm.
like 4x3, I guess.
Yeah. It just feels wrong to me.
Hmm.
Still a good game.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
So, as far as Monkey Ball ROM hacks go, what would you say is your favorite?
oh my god, there's so many. Like it'd have to be between 651 and Monkeyed 2
Hmm.
for different reasons, but they're still both fantastic. Monkeyed 2, that's the first one I played, and I was always dreaming of like making like a Monkey Ball game. I remember I talked about this with Ike when I was like in first grade. And in third grade, I was like drawing them on like notebooks during class because boring. Anyway, um, Monkey 2 was like the thing that showed me, oh, I can do this, and then 651 was I want to do this. Like that was the one that convinced me to actually start making ROM hacks.
Hmm.
Because I think it was the stage area. I know it's a weird pick because it isn't really that crazy, but when I saw area, I was like, yeah.
You can really make a whole level now
Mm-hmm.
with fan made tools.
Like, but the potential's insane.
Hmm.
All right.
No, great answers. So what other content/work have you done besides Monkey Ball ROM hacks?
Well, rolled out is one, but before and a little bit after, a little side project I work on is I'm making just sort of an action adventure game in 2D, just
Really?
from scratch for fun. It's not really that crazy yet. I'm not too far. I'd rather prefer to focus on rolled out for now,
Sure.
but it's a lot of fun to like, put a little bit of coding stuff to the metal and draw like 2D stuff and animate all that kind of stuff rather than just work on level design only. It's a very different experience and workflow, and I like it a lot. Also rolled out.
I'm sure all three of you, or however many people are now on the team, just in terms
It's
of design.
for level design. It's me, Bites, and Bomb Squad. But Bites is main the most by far. I've been very busy recently with college,
I can
so
tell
it's been a
Pyramid of
little
Pain
bit.
was you though.
What is it?
Pyramid of Pain
No,
was
that
you.
was not me.
It wasn't you?
I know, right? I haven't had it really many in the actual game yet. I just sort of had them all in files, and I'm like getting them ready. As I'm building my fleet, and then I'll unleash them. Nah,
Oh wow, that's
but
that's a
I'm working with
bombshell
the
from this
tools,
interview.
getting the physics down, all that stuff. It's hard to design for something I'm not that experienced with, so I've been playing the game a lot recently as well.
Right.
Just
Immediate
like
thing
playing
that
all
I
the
noticed was
courses.
just the control difference, especially turning. Very
Oh, for
noticeable.
sure. And then when I went on the sticky floors for the first time, I was like, "What is this?"
Oh, I do love that though. It gives me Sonic
They're a
Extreme
lot of
vibes.
fun with like the physics, and the camera works very well. It agrees with them. But oh my lord, if it like the one level where it's like it has like the moon and star shaped cutouts on the sticky floor and it goes all around, I kept like turning to get around them. I was like, what? It's really funny to me.
It's neat. What you kind of already mentioned this that what got you inspired to go into Monkey Ball ROM hacking, but what inspired you to go into ROM hacking in general, if it wasn't just
Well,
Monkey 2?
those are synonymous for me. I have not
Mm,
ROM hacked any game that's not Monkey Ball.
fair enough.
So I guess that answer is still 651 and Monkey 2.
Mm.
So I guess Ike, because he's the common thread in both of those. He's like, "Yo, you gotta play this." Like came over spring break and he's like, "You gotta play this," and I'm like, "Okay." So I remember I sat down and I beat Monkey 2, except World 9. I got stuck. No, World I got stuck.
What
The
was that?
TV I was playing on had input lag. I'm gonna blame it on that rather than my own skill. Yep, it's nuts and a lot of fun.
All right, so here's probably the beefiest question of the bunch. So, without giving away too much technical detail, what is the process of level creation like for you?
All right, so that is a really good question. I guess there are like sort of multiple ways that I can approach a level. There are ones where I think of like the name first. Um, there are some where I think of like the underlying mechanic first, and there's some where I think of like a shape and go from there. There's one I'm working on in a rollout right now called Tower Rake. I guess that's kind of a good example. Is I was just taking a shower and I was like, it'd be cool, like that, conical slider. Why don't I like make it better? Like sometimes you look at a level like from another ROM hack or a game, and you're like, I'm gonna do like a little similar thing but different.
Hmm.
Or sometimes you want to go like this level, I want to go fast, and then that's how you get like perimeter and light speed. Or I want to name this level Sisyphus, like the myth, and that's how you get that level.
Hmm.
It's a lot of, and then once I have the sort of shape in my head, I just sort of open Blender, go from there, um, and that's sort of how it goes sometimes. The big ones that are like that I think the reason why I end up with a lot of marathon levels with a lot of like different bits but an underlying mechanic to them all is because I think this level I want to be a marathon level where you go down, or like this one I want the whole thing to be about sort of unlocking bits to a final mechanism that shoots you through the air.
Constructing
And then
this like Rube Goldbergian contraption. The only other thing that I would ask, and I guess this is more of a technical question, how long does modeling usually take you for a level?
does this include making the skybox or not?
Skybox is kind of a separate thing since it's shared with
Okay.
multiple levels.
I'll include texturing it though, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'd say making the model for the level and animating it takes like maybe an hour 30, depends on the size.
Mm.
And it's been shorter over time because I get better with the software and I understand more and I don't have any faults really. And then texturing probably takes maybe 30 minutes. I'm pretty good at it. I know there's a whole meme in the community about align checkers. I always align my checkers. I mostly just because of my personality. I need them all like if I miss something. Like I remember I continually had Ike because he wanted to just play my sets over and over. So he played the sets over and over, and I was like, I gave him a notebook. I was like, if there's something stupid, write it down. And every time he did that, he always spotted like this wall it has a seam in it, or like this thing isn't smooth shaded. And then he just gave me like he ripped out the page, and I wish I still had them, but they're at my house and I'm at my dorm. But
Mm.
I had just pages of those. Um, and I just continually had to go through, fix them, put them back in. So I guess including all that time, I'd say maybe 4 hours. I've easily spent over 600 hours working on Gaiden in total.
That's crazy when you put it into perspective like that. The amount of
Mm-hmm.
time, even for one of the fastest modelers in the community, that's how much time it takes to create a full set of levels like this.
I make very big levels, so if I'm making a small level, like I can do that probably in an hour 20, an hour 30. And it also like depends on how sort of reasonable the shape is. If the shape involves if the shape of the level is very sort of off center or not grid bound, it can be a little hairy sometimes. But as long as it sort of uses lots of more normal geometry, it makes texturing easier. It makes sort of modeling it a lot easier.
Easier to align
Um,
checkers
mhm.
when that's everything's texture, just about.
Yeah, but there's nothing bad about going off grid. It's just
Mm.
it makes the process take a lot longer if you want it to look, all aligned like I do.
So, what are your thoughts on the state of the franchise and the post AV Monkey Ball games, especially?
Sad. It's really
Yeah.
sad. The level design is not good.
No.
I remember I think Step and Roll was the last one I like actually played.
Oh man, Step and Roll. What
And
a game.
man, I can't really think of like the very memorable or good levels for it besides like maybe that one level in like the Asia world where like what was it? Forget.
At Step and Roll. Is it really that memorable?
It it was stupid to actually play normally, but it had a cool skip. That's all I remember. Yeah.
Uh,
It was like one of the only levels that I think had like a cool skip because the physics are very confining in that game.
right.
Unlike Rolled Out, which you can pick up a copy for $20. Shameless plug. Just kidding.
Plug.
Does it still count as a plug if I'm joking when I say it?
I
Like,
mean,
yeah, I still
you're free to
plugged
pay
it.
me
I'm
if you
sorry.
that's up to you.
Alright, well, I guess I'd just say sad.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I
mean,
even liked
in a
Junior
word.
and
Yeah.
Adventure.
You liked Adventure?
Mm-hmm.
That
It's sort
surprises
of
me.
No, I actually love Adventure. It's probably my third favorite. It's a weird opinion, I know, but
What?
I just think the story mode has a lot of moments that you remember. I like climbing Fat Cat Tower. I don't even
Okay.
care if this is nostalgia
Memorable.
goggles.
Memorable, sure. I've been watching Brandon play SMB Adventure in Cherem server a little bit, just over the past couple weeks, and man, that game.
No,
Oh
I love
boy.
Adventure.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time shooting to Congrelaw, and like I remember like opening the gates of Monkeytropolis were a lot of fun. Climbing that sound tower. It's not a monkey ball game. I will say that it doesn't feel like a monkey ball game. I wouldn't really call it a monkey ball game, but if you just take a step back and look at it as just an experience of an open world like complete quests
A unique 3D
experience.
platformer ish.
Yeah, like Banjo-Kazooie or like,
Mm.
that kind of thing. joy points are like your stars, if you will, like in Mario 64. And if you look at it like that, I think it really starts to, become something else. The physics are bad though.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, they're quirky.
They're quirky because they were taken from Crash Twinsanity. So
What?
yeah,
Okay, well, yeah.
yeah. Have you never heard about this?
No, I just sort of played the game. I didn't
So
delve into much.
right. So uh, Crash Twinsanity was being made at around the same time for Traveler's Tales, so they had the engine lying around. And you know how in Crash Twinsanity, if you've ever played it,
I've never.
so there's a section in that game where Crash and Cortex are actually rolling around against each other in like an auto scroller type level where they're like rolling down some sort of surface. And that like section of Twinsanity was used to make Monkey Ball Adventure.
Oh my god.
And that's the reason they're so bouncy. They didn't really tweak them at all from there. They just made sure they worked and called it a day. They were so stretched for time anyway because Sega at this point was starting to get really bad about their scheduling. So, even as early as Monkey Ball 2, that was the case.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah. It is an impressive reallocation. It just leads to the challenge missions feeling very strange.
I wonder how Adventure would feel if it was designed with the good physics. I think it'd be one of the great games, in my opinion.
It's one of the other things that I have been curious about is somebody actually doing an Adventure in 2. A lot of it didn't work.
I was gonna say, have you seen NG use packs sometimes?
Right, that's true. He has like 5 of them.
Because he has the levels, yeah.
And I actually do like most of them.
Yeah, me too.
They play very differently, but I actually think they mostly play better when they work.
Mm-hmm.
But besides,
especially Gank Annie, I actually liked NGU's Gank Annie, but
yeah.
the original Gank Annie just sucks. It's terrible.
No freewheeler stage will be good, except for Wheelie Weird. Actually, surprised me. I did not expect to like that stage when I looked at it.
You don't like Lock-On? I know, I'm just kidding. I think there's one in Rolled Out, but it's not by me. It's like this one. It's in the purple realm.
There's one in space as well that uses the sticky force so you can go around it. It's pretty interesting. I think there is one in the dark matter environment as well, which I actually haven't gone through all those levels yet, so that's something I need to do.
Yeah, I still need to do a couple of them myself, actually. It's just sort of, I get so focused on testing my own stuff. It's a little bit of a, kind of hard to test other people's stuff too, but
just something very still in development for everyone involved. Very much an early access thing. What ROM hacks are you currently working on, and is there anything you'd like to share regarding them? Rolled Out could count in this case as
yeah, I'd say Rolled Out. I was working on a remaster or a re-envisioning of 1.0, which was fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Rolled Out was like infinitely more important. I just sort of stepped back. I was thinking, would I rather work on something that's going to be like, played, maybe played in that community, or like, work on something like,
a regular person is going to see and experience. It's not niche.
Yeah. It's less of its own niche. And, I was thinking, plus I'd like making my own levels. Remastering other people's can be a little bit cumbersome at times. Because you want to keep the idea, but you want to mix in your own. So you don't want to just make it explode. So, yeah. Other than that, Rolled Out. Yep, that's my answer. Lock it in.
Alrighty, and then so you mentioned before that you also have another separate project that you've been working.
Yeah, that's not Monkey Ball related though.
It's not Monkey Ball related, but worth mentioning as well.
Yeah, it plays more like Mega Man Zero.
Okay, nice.
If you're a big fan of that, I am.
I am. What's it like seeing the Romhack community evolve over time, and you along with it?
That's a tough one because I started looking into ROM hacks before Monkey Ball even came out. Like before there was even a server, there was like the Monkey Ball server, and they had the customable text channel.
Yeah.
If you actually go back there and dig, you could probably find some very early ones that I've made. But it made me feel like a hacker, man, when I finally got one in. It was crazy. And then once it was Blender focused instead of Wings focused, I was like, yeah.
Oh, these are usable now.
Yeah,
These
like
work.
I can animate stuff.
Hmm.
But it's been really fun to sort of see a lot of things come very far, like 2.8, Blender 2.8, and all the tools. And I remember working with Bomb Squad directly on a lot of things seen in Gaiden too, like the death counter.
Oh, really?
Um,
That's a
I've
Bomb Squad
seen
thing.
I've seen one person do a green run of Master where they don't die once. The Lost Llama did it, and it was crazy to watch.
Hmm.
Especially like going up the final spiral on Grand Finale. It was crazy.
Just, oh man, a deathless run
Hmm.
of Master.
I know, right? I didn't think anyone would do it, but some people are crazy and awesome.
Yeah, it's neat to see something fan made get that kind of focus.
Yeah, it's been it's been really cool.
And well, we've touched on it a little bit. The last question I have is, what's it been like going from individual Romhack projects to indie development?
Because I know people are like, it's a lot harder to design for that in my opinion, because Gaiden, people just download that for free, and if they're downloading it for free, that means they're playing it and they come across one of those and they like really hate it. That's not anything they lose out of it. It's just like, oh, it's just I don't like this level. I guess I'll just XY it if I really hate it that much. But rolled out, people are paying money for that, and they're expecting like you know,
A really sharp design level.
yeah. So it's a little bit tougher to think about with that in mind. It's a little bit like it's like designing under pressure, kind of. But I think it's kind of fun because
It
it
is.
forces me to like put my best effort.
Hmm. So you have to walk that line of quality and experimentation,
Yeah.
right? You can't be totally out there because, especially when you're paying money for something like this.
hmm I don't want to go like too crazy because that's what the custom scene is for. If I want to go
That's
crazy,
true.
I could just make custom levels for the game after its release. If I want to go like completely nuts and make something like, you know,
It's very out there.
yeah, thank you. Um, but the ones that I'm actually like producing for the game's like set of levels, those are a lot more in line with what you'd kind of expect. But not to say like they're boring at all, no. But they're just sort of not crazy. They push the bounds a little bit. Like there's this one I'm working on where how there's like conveyor platforms, right?
Right.
Well, it's a conveyor that is a sticky floor. So,
Oh,
it's a conveyor that pushes you around. And when you go around the edge, you go crazy upside down, and you can use that to like drop onto certain parts of the level and stuff. But I
interesting.
don't want to lose like the soul of what makes Monkey Ball fun, which is like going fast through levels, sort of clearing that one that figuring out the mechanism thingy, dropping into a hell machine and figuring it out.
Mm. So, I think that about wraps it up. So, customarily, um, do you have any questions remaining for me?
Um, what's your least favorite stage in Gaiden, and why is the answer Phantasm?
Phantasm actually isn't my least favorite stage
Oh,
in
really? Yeah, I
Gaiden.
like to know
Actually,
people's least favorite sometimes, so I can think about what maybe I did wrong.
I'm not really sure what I would consider my least favorite from Gaiden. I have to look back. Um,
Well, that's a win in my book.
I could cheat and say the one that didn't make it in from Compact 2020,
What was it?
but
Pirouette.
I
There are
think it was
actually multiple. Yeah, that one
right.
is
There are
that was
some
the
that
first
are
level I
shown to
made after a
debug.
hiatus. Like I stopped making levels for like a year to focus on like, more personal real life stuff.
Sure.
And that was actually a fantastic year. Like a lot of fun memories were made, but then, once COVID came back, I think it's safe to say Gaiden would not exist without COVID-19.
Really? Just
Yeah.
like in general, or just wouldn't be out yet?
In general, I just wouldn't have had enough time.
Huh.
I know, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of a weird
that's
thing to say, but
that
I
is
know
a
my
weird thing.
workflow.
Yeah, but
But I think that would be a very real thing.
I get what you mean though, because I have a project that took a ridiculous amount of time. A big re-edit of Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, that show is so good.
Yeah, so you know how there's two of them, right? There's
Yeah,
2003. And
I
there's
just watched
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
The first season of Brotherhood actually is missing a lot of stuff from the manga that was in 2003.
Yeah, I remember I was watching it with like one of my friends who's like a super fan. That was actually one of the things I did during my 1 year break.
Yeah.
Was
Roll that.
it was that one episode where they're like going through the snowy like village, and then he said that there's a missing episode in the actual show that like covered that one. There's like this side character that appears there, and he's like angry at them, and I'm like, why is he mad at them?
Oh yeah, the mining town guy. He's not.
Yeah,
even,
and
Yoki's not
it's
even
just
in.
missing.
Yeah. So I, as a madman, decided to combine all of the stuff from 2003 that was cut and put it back into the first season of Brotherhood.
If you ever finish that or are done,
It's
please give me what is it?
It's pretty much finished. There's a couple things
Sub
that
or
need
dub?
worked on. It's dub. I'm working on the
Yes.
sub release. The dub for
I
Brotherhood's perfect anyway.
I was gonna say,
don't have any complaints.
The dub for Brotherhood. Normally, I watch subs. Like I was watching Attack on
Mhm.
Titan like 2 months ago because there were new episodes coming out. It's
Yeah,
over
I don't
now,
love its dub.
but it's dub is trash. The sub is fantastic, but
Mhm.
Full Metal Alchemist dub. What is this, an anime interview? But the dub
Sorry
for
about that. Just
Full
going on a
Metal is
tangent about this.
amazing.
It's the whole point. The reason that I brought this up wasn't just purely to plug that other project that I've got, but
Mhm.
also to mention that probably would have never gotten finished if it weren't for COVID.
Yeah, and I
Is
also
that-
think I would have scored much worse on my AP exams. Seriously,
Really?
having a 3-hour one would be awful, but just having the 45-minute like easy one was like
Oh, you got a short one,
free.
huh?
Yeah, I got the short ones,
Nice.
so it was kind of easy. I got the easy mode ones. Lucky me, I guess.
Yeah. World's on fire, but here's a shorter exam.
Here's a shorter exam, and here's a million free time to make your own thing.
Yeah.
So,
Some one free project.
redeem at your local. Anyway,
But yeah.
yeah, thanks so much for having me.